Buttigieg had a target on his back at Friday night's Democratic debate because he's ahead. They go after you when you're ahead. And Senator Amy Klobuchar took aim in a standout performance. Watch the clip.
It is easy to go after Washington because that's a popular thing to do. It is much harder, as I see Senator Shaheen in the front row, such a leader. It is much harder to lead and much harder to take those difficult positions, because I think this going after every single thing that people do because it's popular to say and makes you look like a cool newcomer, I don't think that's what people want right now. We have a newcomer in the White House, and look where it got us.
Okay, Senator Klobuchar will be here tomorrow. Yeah, it's a hot show. And another experienced politician, Joe Biden, will be here Thursday. But this primary is going to come down basically to whether voters want experience or a newcomer. That's one of the things it's going to come down to. So who do you think will come out of this on the top? An experienced person like Joe Biden or a newcomer like Buttigieg? And Klobuchar is not new, but she's kind of new. What do you think?
She's new-ish.
Ish.
Like
yeah.
black-ish.
Like ish, yeah. New-ish, yeah.
Well, talking about black-ish, you know, I say it all the time on this show that in order to win the Democratic, someone knows where I'm going, in order to win the Democratic nomination, you have to have the support of the African-American community, in particular black women. And what's interesting to me...
Do you have to have that to win the election or just for the primary?
For the primary, and also really to win the election as well.
Okay.
That's just the truth of it. And
Can we just pause for a second and just like raise our black women fists?
Yeah, I mean... But I think what's very interesting to me is that when Kamala Harris was running, her record as a prosecutor was constantly brought up, and she was called like Kamala the cop. Amy Klobuchar, too, was a prosecutor, and that record has not been looked at or brought up in any of the debates, any of the interviews. And what's interesting to me is when you look at her experience, she prosecuted a lot of low-level crime.
Who, Klobuchar?
Klobuchar, in the black community, and also she declined to go after police involved in fatal encounters with black men. Yes.
Well, we'll ask her that when she comes
you know
in.
I'm going to ask her that. But that's the thing. I mean, you know, and there's one case in particular that I want to talk to her about tomorrow, but she prosecuted a young teenager who's been in jail. He's 33 years old right now. New evidence just came out. And he says, you know, he's pled his innocence from the very beginning. Why isn't she questioned on her record in Minnesota, in the black community?
She will be tomorrow.
Well, look, I think Pete Buttigieg obviously got a big bump out of Iowa, who I guess finally stopped counting and got a real result last night. And he still came out ahead. And so when you're on top, everybody comes for you, right? Nobody punches down, you punch up. That's the way you do it in politics. I don't think
Except Trump. Trump does the opposite.
Well,
he punches down.
Except Trump.
Yeah.
He just punches wildly.
No, he punches on the
But
little guy.
I think it's an unfair comparison to say that because of the newcomer thing and compare him to Trump. Trump's problem is not that he's a newcomer. Trump's problem is that he's heartless, that he's corrupt, that he breaks the law, that he divides America, that he's gone bankrupt, that he disrespects the military, that he disrespects intelligence.
New Yorkers knew that.
It's not that he's a newcomer.
No.
That's the least of his problems.
Well, I guess he's a newcomer to politics, though. He hasn't run for the Senate. He's not a congressman. That's what they mean.
You know what?
That's what they mean.
Stop comparing Trump to Buttigieg or to anybody else. That's an unfair comparison. Run against Trump, don't make him a comparison.
I think it's all about the squad, right? So you have a leader that has experience. Like, if you have experience, if you've been around forever, you have to surround yourself by a newer generation. If you are new and you don't really understand politics to the degree of somebody that is an incumbent that's been there for a long time, you surround yourself with some gray hair that has been there. So it's all about the squad. You want to go for the squad with the gray hair, you want to go for the squad that's like, yo, what's up, hashtag this and that. That's what it's really about.
Well, I think that you need a manager to run the country. Because I see the country, the way you run a house, you have... You've got to get the laundry done. You've got to get the food on the table. You know, you've got to make sure your closets are all Marie Kondo'd. It's important. You know, it's important to be a manager of a country. There's a lot of talk about charisma, and they talk about, you know, Michael Bloomberg, who would be a great manager, but lacking in charisma. And it'll be an interesting. I see black people clapping for Michael Bloomberg. Interesting.
That is a trend now.
I mean, really? Wow, that's a turn. That's a turn.
So do you think
that gentleman there in the audience is like,
So what happened to stop and... Wait a second. What happened to stop and frisk?
Yeah, I mean, it's anecdotal, but I've been sort of chatting on, with various think tanks in the
Yeah.
African American community, and people don't seem to be as bothered by
Because
his
he
stop
knows
and
how to
frisk
run a
policies as
city.
I thought they would be.
Now, Klobuchar could be very good, too. I mean, she's very smart. She showed...
Listen, I think the reason people are
And
warming up
Buttigieg,
to...
you know, we love Buttigieg. He's a great guy. Every time he gives an answer, you say, gee, that's smart.
People are
He was
warming up
very
to
evasive
Bloomberg
during the debates.
because people need a plan B, Plan Bloomberg.
Yeah.
Plan Bloomberg may be plan A, though.
I thought Buttigieg was a little bit evasive with Lindsay Davis's fantastic question during the ABC
What was
debates.
that?
It was about his
Gotta go.
what he was doing with the black community in South Bend, and he gave a very broad,
Well,
amorphous
we still have many
answer.
weeks to November. Let's see how they all turn out, okay?